Hey, welcome to Ice Age Part 2, Coyote Driving Truck Day. How about that, huh? How's the truck look? It's pretty cool, doesn't it? Wow, it's windy, it's cooler, it's all about the race truck day, and that's all it's about is the race truck day, right? Oh my goodness, live behind the wheel of a vehicle. That's all I do. Another long day. Oh, it's time to go to work. It just doesn't end. You know, I said the other day, this truck had 2,000 miles on it. Can't see if you turn the damn steering wheel, so isn't that great? Yeah. This truck had 2,000 miles on it in no time. That's one thing. If I just live behind one vehicle, I'll put 100,000 miles on a vehicle in about a year and a half's time frame. All right, get going. Now, here's a rainy day, so what do you drive this thing in a rainy day, right? And if I go to the sport mode, no, can't even remember. Go to the sport mode, makes this thing a little bit more potent, but I got the good Michelin mud and snow, I guess. I don't know. Got the all-season tires on this truck, which thank goodness. I was very concerned when I was buying this truck that I was going to get these summer performance tires on it, and then I can't stand that on all-wheel drive vehicles. Why do you, like the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT? I mean, the performance package has summer tires on it, so it's worthless in the winter months. Yeah, I've talked about this numerous times in all my conversations of cars and tires, and we got to take a moment to listen to the exhaust, right? Wow, this thing is so much fun. It's GERD day. You know, GERD is the worst. It's the worst. I talked about this numerous times in my conversations. It's like it cycles. GERD literally is like the weather. It has its days where it's just gloomy and doomy like today. Then I have sunny days where my GERD and it's all about what you eat and drink and everything else. And that's so crucial to you maintaining your GERD issues. So, you know, certain food groups and drinks just ignite that GERD. So if you hear me kind of gurgling and coughing a lot, it's the GERD, man. I hope and pray anybody watches my videos that's a young person understands how crucial it is. Do not let acid reflux. If you have acid reflux, you're done. You're going to have GERD. You're going to have serious esophagus problems. Yeah. How do I know? Yeah, you're talking to a guy who's never taught this stuff. And that's what I try to do in my channel, just resonate information that maybe you don't realize about. And you'll be like, wow, you know, I never knew that, and now I do know it, so I'm not going to go down the path you went down. So this thing's really shifting hard this morning. She's potent. So yeah, I got a long drive today. This will be a 200+ mile drive in the rain and everything. So yeah, what the hell are you talking about now if you had your controls conversation? The thing is, you know, those turn into really long videos, so I just figure split it up and talk some more as I drive down the road. Well, who else am I going to talk to, right? You know, so just think you're sitting over there in the Iceman's car, and you're the passenger having to listen to me talk when you're like, hey, you know what? I want to get out of the car. I just can't take it anymore. Yeah, right. There's the blinker noise, which I know when you watch the videos, it really radiates that bigger. It's so obnoxious, even for me. Yeah, so anyways, you know, so I got to thinking to myself, you know, this morning about the controls more than ever in today's world. And I didn't go down a lot of different paths just because there's just so much to talk about in that aspect. And I didn't really talk a lot about the fuel, but the energy, you know, the green agenda. If you think about it, the green agenda is controlling the world more than ever. You know, the amount of money that is collected into green agenda foundations is massive. It's billions of dollars. So you're going up against billions of dollars to get something accomplished through the green agenda, you know, grand plan scheme of things. And we know that more than ever that we're paying dearly for fossil fuel energy because of the hate. I mean, the hate. I hate to use the word hate, but it's beyond believable what's going on with the green agenda that's just forcing companies to change the way they make things and change the way your habits are. But it's expensive. It's not cheap. It's a very expensive transition. But the governing bodies know this. So it isn't like they're going to be able to look you straight in the face and tell you that, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. They're going to tell you, well, suck it up, buttercup. Yeah, I mean, sadly, that's kind of the attitude they have, and that's what's prevailing more than ever is, oh, well, too bad. We have to get away from this fossil fuel, and if it's going to cost you a lot more money, then it is what it is. You have no option. Yeah, right. Control. That's what I'm talking about. And you think about this, more than ever, big business is controlling things. I mean, I know I'm no fool to the lobbyists downtown that funnel the money to each party to get things accomplished through their businesses to reap the rewards. I know that. I get that. But more than ever, we're witnessing the big business control things like never seen. And the reason I bring this up is because if you listen to one side of the media, you're going to be told how things are. You listen to another side of the media, you're going to be told the way things are. So it's two opposing views. But at some point, we both have to come to an agreement of what makes sense. And what's really disturbing to me is it seems more so that the left-minded push in this country want more controls and more government control. But yet you're witnessing in the likes of China and Venezuela and other just really very radical governing bodies, and even Russia, that control so much that it's and do you really want that? I mean, I hear people all the time talk about, oh, more governing control is a better thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? The government is not going to solve all your challenges and problems. The government's going to take all your money, and if you think they ain't corrupt like businesses are, you're kidding yourself. But for some reason, the one part of this country feels like government is more honest and better than a big business, and they should control big business. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I know big business manipulates things and controls things too. But to take one view and one side that more governing bodies need to control us more, wow. But that's what the people are taught. Oh, the interruptions. The phone is a-ringing. What am I up to now, right? Yeah, what phone call was that about? The control. I'm going to control what you know and you don't know, right? The control conversations. Yeah. Wow. Right. Yeah. So anyways, back to the differences of opinions. It just kind of befuddles me that we're at such an age and we have so much access of information and things upon our, doorstep, but yet we're so divided in what we think is right versus wrong. I mean, is it just befuddling or what? I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I didn't even get into the talk of the vaccinated. I mean, the people that weren't vaccinated, they were controlled. They were laid off by people versus the people that were vaccinated. That's a whole nother conversation that I know they can divide. It can divide us. So, that you didn't get vaccinated, and since you didn't get vaccinated, you're not my friend anymore. Or if you got vaccinated, you're not my friend anymore because I'm not vaccinated. I mean, oh my gosh, you have no idea how many stories I've heard of people with family where they had to get vaccinated because the family totally banned them. Yes, but at the same time, whether you get vaccinated or not, that's your choice. I'm not going to label you, and I'm not going to divide you and I over that, but maybe you want to divide me over that because if I didn't want to get vaccinated or I got vaccinated. But oh my gosh. But we're now seeing how that's all playing out, where there's companies being sued and they're winning these cases against the employers that fired them because they didn't get the vaccination. Yeah, was the COVID lockdown the most control you've ever seen in this country? I mean, but everybody's kind of kicked that to the curb and brushed it under the rug. But I think to myself, wow, that was an incredible time of control by big business more than ever. Did anybody notice that all the big box stores were allowed to be open, but yet the small business owners were forced to close? I mean, does anybody remember any of these control factors? But yet, and the pitch was that the small business owner, people would die when they went to his store. But if you went to Target, Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, Home Depot, Lowe's, the list goes on and on and on. The big box guys, that you wouldn't die going to that store. I mean, so the comfort level was you were okay to go to the big box stores, but if you went to a small store, it's more confined, and the odds are you're going to die because it's a smaller store or something. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, but all these conversations and all these economic hardships put on to others, it's totally off the radar screen because the media machine doesn't talk about it anymore. Why don't they talk about it anymore? Right? What's that all about? Yeah, we know what that's all about. It's media favoritism to one side of the country more than the other side of the country. I mean, has anybody really figured this out? I mean, I know I'm not that idiotic, and I know anybody watching my channel is not that stupid to not recognize what's going on. But it's things that have just been kicked to the curb that aren't talked about anymore. I mean, it's just beyond believable on how that all has just disappeared. Oh my good here. What's the temperature? It's 53 degrees, and it's actually it's like a humid day. Look at it's like the plants are confused. Look at the plants. It's like the plants are going back to green. Yeah, look at this. It's actually as if the plants think it's spring. I mean, I don't think so, but at the same time, wow. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just delusional, which that can happen. With the amount of warm weather we've had this past week, went from freezing last week to extremely warm this week. You know what thing I've noticed lately? I've seen a lot more car carriers with new vehicles. And so right up the roadway here, we'll be able to go by. Oh no, he's going right, but that's a whole truckload of Ford F-150 trucks. Right on the race. Back to the races, right? Yeah, so then you go to what I talked about earlier. See there? Yeah, there's some lightnings too. Are those all lightnings? I don't think they all are, but yeah, so we go back to the control. Look at the controls. Bumpy. The controls of OPEC. Look at OPEC. OPEC's been trying to control the oil market. You know, I talked in great length back this past spring that how the barrel of oil would not sustain itself at over $100 a barrel. I said, I think before the year's out, it'll be back to $70 or $80 a barrel oil. And it is. And I think possibly it'll be down to $60 barrel oil by late winter of next year. Yes. Why? Well, we know why. Because so many dynamics of the transportation sector have changed. And so many people now remotely work from home. And so many people now order things from Amazon and DoorDash. And the list goes on and on and on. Where they don't have to go drive down to the store to get what they want. So there's just so many variables. And then the big concern is China. China's in a mess right now. And are they going to get themselves back in order for them to be able to get their manufacturing and their society back in order? Right now, it doesn't look like they are. Right now, it's the government just ramping up the control like never seen. Yes, it's bad because it's all about the virus, which viruses will never go away. We're always going to have viruses. I think it's foolish for anybody to think that there's not going to be viruses. The viruses are always going to be around. And the viruses are going to have impact in each individual in a different way, different form. And yeah, I don't disagree. If you can have a vaccine to fight it, great. But to think that vaccines are just going to totally take away future viruses, I just can't see how anybody thinks that that's possible. You know, the viruses will be around always. Just depends on one degree and whatever. That gets deep and heavy. But back to the fuel industry, you know, so look at OPEC. OPEC has been preaching they're going to frickin', this is what's ironic. This administration is really anti-fossil fuels, but at the same time, they want to go to the Saudis and have them pump more oil for us. Well, the Saudis aren't really excited about that relationship. So now we've resorted to Venezuela. Now, yes, we're back to wanting to appease Venezuela to start pumping oil again so that we can try to get the fuel prices down. But at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword. On one hand, this administration is all about green agenda and the hate of fossil fuels. But then on the other hand, they're seeing on how the economic turmoil is on our doorstep because of high energy prices. So now they're backing down and they're realizing they better try to get the handle on energy better because people aren't happy. The confusion, the leaders, the fearless leaders. Where are the fearless leaders to just take, grab the challenges and run with the challenges and make things better? Yeah, I mean, wow. Look at Elon Musk. Look at the challenges that he has with just the total borderline hate of Elon Musk now. You're hearing. Remember, I talked about how I think you're going to start hearing about Tesla owners that are going to sell their Teslas because they don't like Elon Musk anymore. I truly believe that's happening bigger than most people realize. I truly believe a lot of Tesla owners are not happy with Elon and they don't want to contribute to his monies anymore, and they're selling their Teslas for the BMW, the Mercedes, the Volkswagen, the Ford. I really think that's going on more than the media is wanting to talk about. So that'll be interesting to see if Elon Musk's Tesla operations start to show a reflection of how he's coming out to be more right-minded than left-minded. And he kind of was on that fine line of being more of a left-minded person. But more than ever, I think a lot of left-minded people are saying, no way, Elon is very, Elon borderline is Donald Trump Jr. Borderline, if you think about it. Yes. I've thought about that years ago, that, oh my gosh, Elon has the same type of, he doesn't back down. He'll mouth off. Yeah. Now that he's got the Twitter thing, is he really going to mouth off of that? Is he going to really, even for himself, abuse it, which the other individuals would think that he's turned into a hate platform? I don't know. It's going to be so interesting to see how all this starts to play out into next year, really. That's kind of where all that's going, as far as trying to get the Twitter thing already down. Okay, so Carvana. So I called Carvana. Get this. Yesterday, I talked about the Dodge Challenger had 90-day tags. 90-day tags. And the Dodge Challenger tags are dead. So I spent about 30 minutes, I would say this morning, reaching out to Carvana. First, I went to a chat online session and on one phone, and the other phone, I made a call to Carvana. And oh boy, oh boy. So there's nothing, there's no news. Meaning the two ladies, the one lady on the chat and the one lady on the phone who was very, very, very apologetic over and over and over and over and over again about how she's sorry about the situation. Everything's in order to be done. We're just waiting on the Department of Motor Vehicles of Virginia. Everything's been done on our side. We're just waiting for the DMV. Well, when can that be accomplished? I don't know. I can't answer that right now. I don't know. I'm very sorry you can't drive your car right now. Think about this. So if I was only a one-owner car guy that just bought a regular old, car, right now, I'm driving around with dead tags. Now, I mean, for the record, is the police officer really going to beat me up and pull me over for that and really ride my butt when I tell him that Carvana's the problem, not me? Will he listen to that and let me go away? I have enough cars. It's not a big deal. But the big deal is it's very obvious that Carvana definitely has got all the hate around them. They got a lot of challenges because the media machine is totally eating up Carvana and spitting it out. That they're doomed and gloomed. And so for me, the answer is they don't know when I'm going to get my tags. But their position is they've done everything they're supposed to do they're now waiting on the Department of Motor Vehicles of the state of Virginia. But why? Everything's been done on their side. Why is the Department of Motor Vehicles holding up the transfer of title and ownership to me and registration to me? What's going on? I mean, I get registration for other vehicles right away. And I just got my registration for my Harleys that I bought, that were bought way after the Dodge Challenger. Those registrations are done like in 2 weeks' time. So for Carvana right now, my Challenger is dead in the water as far as having legal tags on it. And they will not, I asked them, well, then send me another 30 to 60 day temporary tag. And they apologize profusely that they can't do that. It's not allowed, and it's at the stage now they can't do that. Wow, right? So Carvana, who so many people tarnish Carvana, for me right now, I can honestly tell you that the Carvana story is happening for me, that I can't get regular tags on my Challenger at this time. And when will I get them? Yeah, I mean, I would have to say now, I think I'm probably into now next year when I get tags for my car, because today's the last day of November, so we got 4 weeks of December, and kapoof, poof, it's first of the year. Yeah, who's controlling that? So Carvana's position is that the Department of Motor Vehicles is controlling that problem. Really? I mean, do we really believe that? I mean, I can hear all the other associates in the background as she's talking. So my guess is Carvana's phone is ringing off the hook, because a lot of people are getting very concerned that Carvana's dire straits of finances is creating registration problems, among other things as well. Even though Carvana is still selling cars, so if you go to their website, they still have cars available for you to buy. But I wonder how much they're willing to pay for your car now. That would be very interesting. If they really have toned it back, because they just aren't in a position to take risks like they did. Yeah, so there's another example of control, right? The controlling factor. Speaking of control, I think to myself, in relationships, control. Wow. Anybody follow my channel? In your relationships, wow, is control a huge challenge in relationships? Oh my gosh. I mean, I didn't even talk about that. When it comes to marriage, family, and what one person wants to do versus another person wants to do, and some are more control-minded than others. I mean, it's a really big problem. I mean, it really is. I mean, sadly, we all kind of want to do things the way we want to do, and it's very challenging. I'm not here preaching that I'm the perfect guy that doesn't like to control things over somebody else. I'm not here to preach that, I'm just some guy that bows down to everything and I don't get my way or whatever. And, it has to go both ways. The old saying, my way or the highway. Yeah, so, wow. Who can't relate with this? You have a relationship with somebody and you're what you think is right versus what they think is right versus wrong, and you have to go through the arguments and the differences of opinions, and when it's all said and done, can you both make it work? Wow. Yeah, that's the lighting of, that's when you get married, you take the two candles and make it one candle because it's a union of one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to I'll tell you, I'm not the role model in that. I mean, no. Yeah, I married a beautiful woman that's definitely the woman for me in my life. And yeah, has it been perfect? By no means. Very, very challenging. And that's a challenge of marriage, and everybody has different relationships of what you can do, what you can't do, what you put up with and what you don't. So yeah, I mean, anybody that knows me and watches my channel, it's like, yeah, you must have a really strong-willed wife, which I do. And that's why I married her. So when I met her, I knew she was very strong-willed. Yeah, that goes both ways. Yeah, does she have a strong opinion? Yeah, she does. But at the same time, we try to make it work to the best of our capabilities. And who doesn't know these stories? And when the kid comes along, it's even more challenging. For any youngsters out there watching my channel, when you have a child, if you don't think the differences of control are going to play out, yeah, good luck. Yeah, what's the saying? Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, happy wife, happy life. Because that's the challenge of relationships: is who's controlling what and doing what. But what really kind of sparked that was my thoughts are this truck here is just so much fun. I'm getting about 19.4 miles to gallon. Okay, kind of bounce around there. And this truck, I get to thinking, I own very similar, same setup as far as being a lower two-door, short bed Ford truck. And you know, that truck there was so unique that I didn't drive it. I mean, I drove it. I mean, I did drive that truck a decent amount. I had like 6,000 miles on it after I owned it less than 2 years. But it always was on this page, and I don't want to put a lot of miles on it because it's a, you know, it's a specialty built truck that I hope one day, I really thought one day that vehicle would be worth, you know, $500,000 one day, you know, 30 years from now. But no way, it's not going to be that type of vehicle. Wish it was. But the whole point is, even for me, I would control the amount of driving I would drive that vehicle. Even the Bronco Wild Track that I just bought this past January, I had to kind of control the miles of my car. Even on the Shelby, or I should say the Heritage GT500 that I have, that, you know, I've only have like, I think 88 miles on that vehicle, and I don't want to drive it. I want to control the miles on that thing because I want to have the option, if I want to sell that thing and get good money for it, that thing having barely any miles on it will make a big difference, in my opinion, of getting really good value, because it's borderline like a brand new car. So I think about this truck here, and I'm not worried about getting a lot of miles on it, because it's a specialty built truck that's recognized. So this is just a great truck to drive. I mean, I'm driving the heck out of it. I'm living out of this thing. I mean, I want to drive this truck every day I can. I really like it. I mean, the bouncing around sometimes gets a little old, but the fuel mileage on it, it's really close to 20 miles per gallon if you can kind of keep up in the open highway. But it's all day long, 19. In fact, I think what I'll do right now, I think I'll reach miles, and let's kind of see what we get out of this thing today. Driving a lot of miles. The whole point is, you know, for me, I always have had the control feeling of cars I own, that I don't want to drive them too much because I'll ruin them. You know, that's kind of what happens. You get these really nice cars, and you're so fixated on, you don't want to drive it because it's such a nice car. You want to try to preserve it, but then the laughing side of the others on is, oh, you just preserve it for the next guy to enjoy it. And then you took the loss on it for them to enjoy the loss that you lost the money on, but they still have like a brand new car because you wouldn't drive it. Yeah. And I always think to myself, the cars that I do sell, you know, what happened to them, and what does happen to my miles? You know, does somebody just ramp up the miles overnight of the vehicle where they don't care? They just want to drive and enjoy it. And I've seen that. And a lot of people do that. There's many people that buy Hellcats and GT500s, and they don't care. They're spending a lot of money. They don't have the finances or budget to own a lot of cars. So their position is, I'm going to buy this car. It's very expensive, but I'll just have one car, and I'll just drive the hell out of this one car. The heck out of this one car. Sorry for the foul language. You know what's really interesting? The control factor, right? So what happened to Walking Tall? The Walking Tall guy, I did a really great video for him on his Street Glide and his presentation of all the add-on accessories to help the ad content, sponsor content, drive more people to buy more stuff. What's very interesting is that video's in a lot of hits because of his Walking Tall. You know, he's recognized in the community, but I haven't ever seen him post the video that he did me on Saturday of my daughter and I wonder if he ever posts that. I mean, I have no idea. It's his channel. I'm not here complaining. I'm just curious that he was walking around the dealership, and that's the way I met him. He was walking around the clothing department showing off a Harley Davidson hat, and he looked at me and said, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "Iceman." He's like, "Iceman?" I'm like, "Yeah, Iceman." Yeah, and he's like, "What do you think of this Harley Davidson hat?" And he's videoing it. and it's a Harley Davidson hat with stripes all over it with like the flat bill on it, and so I looked at it and said, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then he looked at my daughter and said, what's your name and what do you think of it? And she was like, that's not my style. And then we started talking to each other, and we started walking around and talking, and then he did an interview of my daughter and I of us riding motorcycles, you know, what our thoughts were and all this other stuff. So he did at least a 15-minute, I'll say conservative, 10-minute. I think it's at least a 10 or 15-minute video of talking to my daughter and I about motorcycles and, you know, and other things associated with that. And I did a lot of talking, like, yeah, I can't talk, right? Yeah, if you watch well, anyway, so the whole point is, yeah, where's that video? Because he's posted other videos in that since we saw him. So, who knows? Don't know on that. The control, right? Is he controlling the content? Which, yeah, on your video channel, you got to kind of control the content, right? Oh, the rain. That's what we got here today. Hey, look at this. Is the truck getting tired of me? What the hell's that all about? Right? How does this thing know how I'm acting, right? Yeah. What camera is inside the truck here? Yeah, I don't think this truck has that many cameras because it doesn't have all that adaptive cruise control technology on it. That'd been pretty neat. Oh, the beautiful Beltway. Traffic. You know, unless you live in these roads, it's just nerve-wracking. I mean, if you don't do this stuff like I do every day, I mean, you just get these roads, they just intimidate the heck out of you. There's people they just fly down the road. And now the rain, yak, yickety. This thing is so much fun. You're just going down the road and watch this. Makes a lot of noise. You hear this? It's just all about that exhaust. If you love the sound of exhaust, then this is a truck for you. This 10-speed tranny is just so cool on how it downshifts.